Harvey Weinstein's fall from grace in October 2017 presented a serious threat to Russell Brand's lucrative show business career, not to mention his reputation. The comedian had been reinventing himself as a dutiful father after marrying Laura Galasher 2 months earlier, but his prior behavior sat awkwardly with the enlightened new Me Too era. A noted predator who claimed to have clocked up more than 1,000 sexual conquests, he was notorious for using stand-up shows to tell misogynistic jokes about his degrading exploitation of women. 3 years earlier on a West End stage, for example, Brand had uttered the punchline, "Oh, I've raped someone once," and killed her. On a previous stand-up tour, he'd boasted about performing grotesque sex acts on partners until their mascara runs a little bit. In a best-selling autobiography, he'd confessed to having spat in the face of one girlfriend during rough sex and said he'd later drawn up an extensive victims list of women I'd wronged as a result of my sexual addiction. It was quite a track record for a supposedly mainstream comedian and Guardian columnist. So Brand was walking something of a tightrope on the morning of October 22nd, when he pitched up at the studios of Channel 4's popular daytime chat show Sunday Brunch. By the time he'd walked out, a few hours later, he was facing a minor PR crisis. To blame was an at best questionable, and at worst deeply tasteless, joke he'd cracked on the supposedly middlebrow program during a discussion about Strictly Come Dancing. One Sunday Brunch co-host, celebrity chef Simon Rimmer, was competing in the BBC show. Brand asked the other co-host, Tim Lovejoy, whether he'd attended any live recordings. "You're around there every week, aren't you, Lovejoy?" joked Brand. "What's your motivation on a Saturday at Elstree, lurking round the dancers?" "I better come, gotta support Simon. Stick around, eventually someone will be drunk enough." Brand's gag hinged, of course, on the idea that celebrities routinely target inebriated women to take advantage of. A good number of viewers found that poor form. "Russell Brand makes me ill. Another disgusting male making rape jokes," one wrote on Twitter. "Given the current climate, a very poor comment from Russell Brand," said a second. "So not funny, vulgar and childlike," wrote a third. Soon complaints about the joke had started to go viral under the hashtag #MeToo. At this point, the Metro newspaper decided to cover the controversy on its website, with an article headlined "Russell Brand Makes Inappropriate Sexual Assault Joke on Live TV." It went live at exactly 12:39 p.m. At this point, Brand had two sensible options. He could take the heat out of the controversy by issuing an apology, or he could keep his head down and hope that what was, in the great scheme of things, a relatively minor role would die down of its own accord. But instead, Brand decided to go down a third route, one that has been followed by egotistical rich people since time immemorial. He hired a top lawyer to threaten people,